One of the most striking stories of one of the most beloved Straw Hats has been revisited and explored in greater depth, this to mark a reunion and the definitive closure of a cycle of suffering. Chapter 1133 focused on her, Nico Robin, her perseverance in living and continuing to move forward, and much more, including fascinating insights into one of the islands that promises to be one of the most well-developed in One Piece. Shall we talk about Robin's reunion with the man marked by flames? Let's dive into the analysis of One Piece Chapter 1133. Don't go anywhere after the intro. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. As always, before we start, I'd love to ask you to leave a like. It helps YouTube know this video is relevant, and if you're not yet subscribed, be sure to join us. Without further ado, let's dive into one of the best chapters of 2024. Let's go. Cover. On the cover, we see Hold'em, who has once again kidnapped Otama. Speed is already defeated on the ground, and Yamato is facing off against him. It's almost certain that Hold'em stole the sword. My question is he acting alone, or is there a group of rebels turning against Momonosuke's government, possibly former allies of Kaido? Things are getting more interesting in this cover story. That said, Hold'em doesn't stand a chance against Yamato, who will likely defeat him with ease. Part 1. Robin's Suffering. The chapter begins by revisiting events from 22 years ago, right after Ohara was burned to the ground. Let's remember, the idea of sinking the refugee ship and killing everyone was Sakazuki's. We get more details about the aftermath of this destruction, where Spandine, for those who don't remember, he's Spandam's father, blames Robin for everything, the deaths, the destruction, all of it. An 8-year-old girl is held responsible for the genocide and annihilation of her own people. Because of this blame, Robin, who is now called a demon, experiences a living hell. Oda makes a point of adding more layers to her suffering, showing how she had to eat garbage with stray dogs and how the world treated her as scum. But the most shocking moment comes when we see Robin contemplating ending her own life. The despair of someone who, after losing her entire family and everyone she loved, is now blamed for their demise, is heart-wrenching. Oda was brilliant here, not only reminding us of Robin's known suffering, but also deepening it, all to make the ending of this chapter beautiful. The Wart 2. After revisiting Robin's story to set up a magnificent ending, it's time to learn more about Elbaf. Here it feels like Oda is having a lot of fun. Through the eyes of Luffy and Usopp, it's as if Oda is saying, here's the island I promised to show you 20 years ago. And it's wonderful that Oda reunited the Straw Hats so quickly. The crew's interactions on this stunning island will only enhance the arc's beginning. We're introduced to yet another innovation of Elbaf. After the rainbow that can be navigated upon, we now see clouds that can levitate ships. All the Straw Hats reunite, and we also see the 2 giant crews. Hajruddin introduces Luffy to his crew, which consists of 5 members, as Road is tied up, bound, and crucified. He seems to be the comic relief of the crew. A quick note here, Bonnie and Robin are inseparable, and Bonnie doesn't even resemble the grumpy girl we met at Sabaody. Could Bonnie officially join the Straw Hats? That said, her interactions with Lilith are also fascinating. Both fit well with the crew. Hajruddin mentions that news of Big Mom's defeat has reached them, and comments on how cool it is that Luffy is now one of the 4 emperors. Gerd adds that Linlin was once her friend, but did something unforgivable to Elbaf. A quick theory here, Luffy's camaraderie with the people of Elbaf feels very warm and friendly. I suspect one of the plots of this arc will involve Luffy unintentionally doing something that Elbaf considers unforgivable. This camaraderie might not last long, but since that hasn't happened yet, a banquet is set to take place to Luffy's absolute delight. So during this celebration, at the banquet, Robin is told that Saul is waiting for her. Gerd reveals that he is now a teacher and wants to show Robin the library. We are introduced to yet another stunning location, the Warrior's Fountain, home to the Owl's Library. I wonder if these names are random or if there's something intriguing behind them. This fountain looks like a sea, and this detail was intentional because Oda was about to recreate a special scene. Part 3, The Great Reunion, Robin's Deepest Cry. Finally, the long-awaited moment arrives. Ever since we learned that Saul was alive, this moment has been highly anticipated, but not without a bit of drama first. A giantess approaches, saying that Sensei Saul has fallen and isn't moving. Yes, the same thing mentioned at the end of chapter 1131. After months of theorizing, given the many breaks between these chapters, we learned there was no real dilemma. Robin understood instantly. Saul was simply trying to recreate the moment they first met back in chapter 392. Did anyone guess this? The reason Saul collapsed? The scene is entirely recreated, frame by frame, with the only difference being that Robin is now a grown woman. Saul then explains how he survived. The ice melted due to the fires consuming Ohara. I wonder if this was calculated by Aokiji. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. By the way, the theory that Saul is the man marked by flames grows stronger and stronger. He would be a strong candidate for this title. As Shiryu mentioned, he was a former government figure. He bears marks from the flames, and he possesses extensive knowledge of Ohara's studies on the Void Century. Saul seems to be the perfect fit for this role. Saul also says he overheard part of Vegapunk's broadcast and how significant it was for Ohara's legacy and its potential to change the future. Saul admits he was deeply upset by the things people said about Robin. However, Robin doesn't want this moment to focus on the bad. Instead, she asks Saul to praise her for surviving. Of course, Saul praises her. In a heartfelt embrace, he commends her for enduring 22 years of being hunted by the entire world. In one of the most memorable scenes in the series, Robin recalls the moment she first wished not to live anymore. But now, as she embraces the one she promised to stay alive for, Robin cries deeply. It is the most significant cry we've ever seen from her in the series, a cry of happiness. The chapter ends with this emotional embrace. If Robin's Derashishi laugh was once a mask to hide her deep sadness, this overwhelming cry marks the happiest moment of her life, and people still ask why Oda is considered a genius. Finally, the manga will be on break next week, but will bring you plenty of One Piece content here. What did you think of chapter 1133 of One Piece? Were you moved? Did you shed a tear? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. See you next time, and thank you.